also that extra weight that we need to just kind of release. Okay? So I'm going to come over and I'm going to begin. If you have any questions, let me know. I can see you. Also, this is going to be posted on my website later. I'll give you all the information. This way, if you want to come back and you want to try it again, you can. So we're going to start out by coming down to like a child's pose position. You see my ankle weights are already on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just lay my feet down. And even just doing that is helping my feet and my body and my legs to melt down into the mat. I already feel a big difference. I'm going to sit my hips down and I'm going to bring my head down to the mat. Now I'm paying attention to you guys, but you can definitely start out with child's pose. Maybe even take the head or the hips and just rock them back and forth. That's always good. The head can melt down into the mat. From here, we come up and we come into like a tabletop position and we tuck the toes under and then we shoot the hips up towards the ceiling. This is where our downward facing dog gets a little bit different, right? By having the ankle weights on our feet, what we're doing is we're dropping the weight into our heels. That's giving us the ability to press more into our hands and shoot our hips up towards the ceiling. I don't even have to move for the gravity to pull down on my hamstrings. So I get that extra pull that I might need to be able to loosen my hamstrings. But it's not so much of a pull because it's only like a pound or 2 pounds on each foot. So it's almost like I'm ripping my mat in half. And then as I do that, I shoot my hips up towards the ceiling. So this is the beginning. Right now it's the first downward facing dog. What we're going to do now is we're going to take our right foot and we're going to lift it up. Okay? So our right foot's lifted up, and this is a lot. If you have an ankle weight on, this could be a lot for you. So just maintain and hold this position. If it's in your practice and you feel as though you have enough strength, what you can do is you can lift up and pull back. So we're pivoting from the pelvis. Our feet are stabilized into the ground, and that ankle weight is pulling back on my hip. It's giving me an extra release. My hands are firmly pressed down into the ground. On the next exhale, I can bring my foot forward, and I can lay it right here in between my hands. Okay? Then I can take my opposite leg and come forward and come into a forward fold, right? So now this forward fold is different because when I have my weights on, what happens is, again, that weight is falling down into my heels. So I can lean my upper body more forward and my feet are going to be webbed down into the ground. It's almost like they're melted or glued into the ground. They're not moving, okay? So as I drop my head down, I can really release and let go. And I can play with that weight, sort of like a poster would fold. I can kind of play with that weight just by rocking back and forth. And that little bit of rock is going to release the hamstrings. Why are the hamstrings so important, you may ask? Because if you have tight hamstrings, more than likely, you have lower back problems. So you loosen the hamstrings, you begin to loosen up some of those problems in the lower back area. Okay? This is related to this. So we slowly come up, half lift, flat back. Again, our body isn't moving. These are really grounding us into the ground, these weights. We exhale, release. And you see I'm pivoting up from the pelvis. My feet are not moving. They're glued down to the ground. I take my arms and allow them to rise, bending back slightly, and hands come down by the side. Okay? So that's one thing we can do in yoga using our ankle weights, right? To help incorporate it into the flow. If you want to try to build strength, right? We also, in balance, we also have tree pose in yoga. So from your standing position, you can take your arms, allow them to rise, inhaling and exhaling. Bring your hands down by the side, and then you can find a place for your foot. So you can start here, taking your ankle and just bending it a little bit while your heel presses onto the opposite leg. 4 different positions you can use. The most common positions for tree pose are right here with the toe still touching the ground, right in between the knee and the ankle, or on the thigh. So using the weight really helps this leg here to ground in. I feel like I'm almost able to do anything, right? Because this foot is grounded. But I'm still using my core, and this leg is lifted. So I'm getting some strength right now into this leg and into this thigh. I still have to squeeze a little bit more from my core to hold this leg up, right? So wherever you are is fine. I'm going to go in the middle, so that way we can do it together. I'm not sure, advanced, beginner, intermediate, it doesn't matter. Tree pose is really, really, really great, right? So I'm going to just go right in the middle. Now my toes are webbed. Inhale, lifting up, and then exhale. Find a place for your hands. If you're a little bit wobbly, that's no big deal. That's okay. It's okay to fall. Alrighty. From here, what we can always do is we can take our foot and we can build some strength. Remember I told you we're going to build some strength? So if your leg is up here, what I want you to do is breathe and allow it to come down behind you. And I'll show you what it looks like. You're just going to have it come behind you like this. Alright? You're grounded in to the opposite leg, and you just lift, squeezing the glutes, and come back. You're breathing in and out. Woo! I lost my balance. So you're breathing in and out, squeezing in and out. Find your zen, web those toes, soften the knee. You don't have to have a straight knee. You can soften that knee, let the weight fall into those heels. Do about 5. And this is a challenge for balance, but it's definitely worth it. And then bring your foot back down. And you want to do the opposite side, obviously, so find your happy place in your tree pose. And what you want to do is find your zen, right? So I'm going to come up to here this time, because that's just where I'm most comfortable. Web those toes. And even if you don't have ankle weights, you can do these poses without the ankle weights. I'm just showing that you can add a little tool out your tool belt to increase or enhance your everyday poses in yoga. So definitely can enjoy this. From here, once we find our balance, we bring that foot behind us. And I'll do it from the side this time, right? Inhale, 1, 2, squeezing the glutes, squeezing that core, 3, 4. And bring our foot back down. So, there we just did a little bit to build our strength. We're wrapping those muscles from our back body around to our abs, and our abs around the back body. It's kind of forcing us because we have no choice with these weights. Okay? So another thing that we're going to do, I'm going to come down into plank pose, and we're going to do a few exercises from plank. So what's going to happen is we're going to still keep the weights on, and we're going to be able to feel the pull from one end of our mat to the other. So come down, if you're doing it with me, come down, right? So we stretch out, and here's where we find that pull. I don't know if you can see me, but I'll lean my upper body forward, and I shoot my hips back. I leave my arms right underneath my shoulders, and here I feel my ankles, and they're just weighted in, so they're not moving, right? So from that, I can start to adjust the body. Then I want to inhale, and I want to just lift up on my leg. Exhale, release. 2, 3, 4, 5. Do the opposite leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to stay right here now into my pose. I just gave myself the strength that I need. My legs They feel nice and strong. They feel nice and stretched. I'm holding this pose. I'm starting to sweat, right? So I'm breaking a sweat in my yoga. Then I'm going to lower down and come into cobra. Coming into cobra with the ankle weights, my toes are grounded, so the flats of my feet are pressed down on the ground. And then I can lift up all my body. And then exhale, release. Again, lifting up. Maybe I go from baby cobra to a bigger cobra and release. It's almost like I can do a lot of stuff just because my feet are grounded in. I can extend how much I would normally do. And we can come back down into a child's pose. I'm going to sit up straight. We're going to scooch the legs underneath us, right? Hi, Jimmy. Thank you for joining. So, we're going to bring the legs out in front of us, and now we're in a seated position. Legs aren't moving. 2 pounds of weights, they're not really moving. Wherever I lay those feet, that's where they're going to go. So I'm going to use this to help me to do a forward fold, okay? But I'm going to soften my knees and just let them relax. I'm going to let the weights on my feet, and I'm going to take the meat from underneath my sits bone, and I'm going to just bring it up a little bit, okay? Inhale, I'm going to lift my arms up, and then exhale, and just release. Now, you can stay just like this, or you can reach for your toes. If you reach for your toes, you're probably going to feel your knees straighten. Please only try to push yourself as far as you can go. You don't have to reach for the toes. But if you like it, and you like that feeling, like I like that feeling, I like that pull from one side to the other, like just in my body, that's why I do it. Go for it. Otherwise, maybe bend the knees a little bit, and then start to soften them down before going all the way in, or just keep the hands here. And the other thing you can do is take your hands and place them underneath, like this. And that will give you a really big pull, and because you have the weights on, it's going to pull down on your shoulder blades even more. Okay? Other thing we can do, extend the legs out. Inhale, lifting up. And we're going to exhale. Well, I'll exhale, start on this side. We'll take the opposite hand, lift it up. We're reaching for the toes. We're taking our index finger and our thumb, and we're wrapping it around the toe. And then we're bringing our hand down, and we're just going to sit here. Again, the ankle weights help to ground the leg, so we don't have these floppy legs that are just moving everywhere. The gravity is just kind of sitting in, and we can get that extra stretch and that extra pull. And we do that on both sides. Okay? You can reach down in the middle as well. Alrighty. And the last thing that I'm going to show you is pigeon pose, right? So pigeon pose in yoga is an amazing pose. So what we do is we take our leg, we lift it up, peel back. With the weight, we bring the leg in front of us. Okay? Now, so you can see, here's the weight, here's the ankle, it comes across the body. Now you can place it like parallel to your mat, the upper part of your mat, or you can bring that leg, and I'll come on this side so you can see, or you can bring that foot so that it comes down to your hip. Okay? You lean forward, and you find your comfortable zone for your arms. The weights are still on your feet. Now what it's doing is it's pulling back while your upper body's leaning forward. And if you want, extend all the way out. And just breathe. Okay? And you obviously would do that pigeon pose on both pigeon pose and feel like you don't ever want to come out of it, trust me. So, do you have any questions, guys, about using the weights? I know that the ankle weights are going to put a little bit of, I don't want to say pressure, but it's gonna help to take your practice to the next level. And you can incorporate your ankle weights into anything, like not just yoga, but bike riding, Pilates. I'm sure that there's other stuff that you can do too, a lot of cardio and things like that. But you just want to be very careful and mindful of your knees. And I do suggest that you do the proper formation, at least in yoga and Pilates, because being able to form the pose the correct way is key with or without the weights, right? So this video is going to be posted on my website. Aww. Well, you know what? It's okay. We have a lot of videos on our site, and the people that do watch, that's what we do it for, you know? And I hope that you benefit out of it. And you can definitely go back and review this video to do the step-by-step process. I'm one of those teachers that teaches with a lot of dialogue, because that's just how I was taught. For me to get my certification, I had to teach a whole class, you know, from start to finish, by structuring it and really throwing myself into it as a teacher. So some people like that style and maybe some people don't, right? But just to be a good instructor, I like to keep my students safe, whether you're in front of me or you're somewhere else in the world. So definitely check out some of the other videos. Knowledge is free on our website. We do have like one download for like $1, but that's really just to support us. So that we can create more content, get better cameras, better iPads, better phones, all types of stuff to be able to deliver our message. So yeah, definitely. It's www.creativemindsyoga.com. This connection sucks. Aww. Is it that bad? Maybe that's what's the problem, why people aren't tuning in. I don't know. But I'm going to see this video. I'm going to see this video and see what happens, okay? Again, it's creativemindsyoga.com. If it's really, really bad, I'll just reshoot it without it being on Periscope, okay? Because I've done that before. MINDZ yoga.com. creativemindsyoga.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. Do you have any other questions for me? I do appreciate your viewership. Okay. Have a good one.